Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris, and as promised, we're back. Rather than pick up mid-season, I basically ran everybody just in normal races. I did try a couple of interesting ones, like the Grand National Hurdle. I sent 3 people in. Burning Man did okay. Um, yeah, not too bad at all. So, yeah, Belfast Kid, not great. Hello, Milady, not great. Come Undone, we just basically did a couple of juvenile hurdles that were feature races, and we won quite comfortably in both. So again, just feels like a great horse there. 11 races, 11 wins. Everybody got 11 runs basically. So yeah, and 4-year-olds not too great. Bit of a change in the breeding ban. Bunch of 2-year-olds and whatnot going through. Tartan Jury is up for breeding next. We've got Malibu Sun done. And so we stick to our plan. We do have some new horses, though. So we've got the ones from last year. We've also picked up Serendipity, who is a solid-looking 4-year-old. Doesn't look amazing, but, we'll get her runs um, as well. And then a bunch of 3-year-olds. We've got Crystal Toffee, um, a solid horse again as a 3-year-old filly. Karakan, another solid 3-year-old. We've got Dramster, who looks kind of impressive and intriguing to see how he'll do. And Brazingham, who should do okay over distance. um, 2 should be fairly easy to figure out who they are, and a third I think is possible, but only if you know one thing. If you do know one intellectual property, then you could connect the dots. Um, Otherwise, it might be a little more difficult. And the other one is just something if you're paying attention in this game, which yeah, you might be, you might not, and also you'd have to have a brain like mine to connect dots to the fourth. So yeah, Crystal Toffee is probably the most difficult. Caracan, you need a little bit of knowledge for. Brisingham, Dramster, if you can't figure those 2 out, then okay. I will say that. But yeah, we got some good 3-year-olds, good 4-year-olds to run. Breton Squid is a short order horse, but a nice looking 5-year-old again. Nothing super special. We've pulled over Modern Eve, and I was thinking of a breeding barn, but also we don't have many runners for big races, and I kind of think this year, next year might be good to run Modern Eve and just see kind of how she does. She got a little bit of distance, she got a little bit of quality. We'll see. And then, of course, Plateau Brex comes out of the breeding barn. It's a 9-year-old season. And again, we don't really have runners, so why not? Why not her? And so, yeah, pretty solid. So we got some races, and we got some fun 3 and 4-year-olds who I think can slowly start moving in the right direction. Let's say a couple of feature race wins, a grade 3 win, a solid performance in a grade 1 as a 3-year-old. So, like, at least 3 out of our 6 4-year-olds are, you know, they're close. Um, so yeah, I think just to begin with, like, find maybe a 2, what, 2 2, a 2 3, 2 4 for Plateau Brex, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure. We're testing for distance really more than anything. Let's say 2 miles. The 2 2 could suit. We might need a little bit more. But we know this is a very good horse. Can it jump? Well, That's really the big question, isn't it? And that's something we're going to find out. Modern Eve also looks to be at around that same distance. We might just then go here and try and throw in another one about the right distance. 2 miles 5. Yeah, there's a lot of feature races that might suit with a 5-year-old, maybe. So I'm just really testing, I think. More than anything, I'm just testing. Because I don't fully know. And then yeah, it's a bunch of these horses might now have a few options. 2-2 doesn't look like much. A grade 3 2-3. We do like this horse. Will come in very low, well, not very low weight, but lower weight. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Sure. There's a lot of selling races which I don't love. And we did run a lot of novices, so maybe there's not a ton of other races we can run. Got a little handicap grade 3 there. I like kind of what we're building early, at least. So yeah, we can't really do flats, which means can we do anything in a feature hurdle like this? Maybe. Maybe. I think I'm gonna send it. I think I'm gonna send it because I don't really have like too much choice in the matter. 2-4. Can go for a couple of handicaps, maybe. Because after that, it doesn't really offer much later on in the year. So, relatively high weight. Serendipity. Yeah, I just feel 2 mile to 2 mile 1, which isn't exactly amazing. But they didn't run novices, so they will be able to run juveniles. So that opens up a pathway for them. I've got everybody a race. Now, whether they suit in any fashion is something we're going to learn. But I feel there's a lot more testing in jump saves than there is in flat saves. Flat saves very kind of easy to tell what you've got and where you can run stuff. Yeah, not so much elsewhere. I'm pretty sure there's going to just be like 2 miles everywhere. So I guess we're just running flats. It's not too bad. We got a 55 stamina. We got 265s. And then we have the 75, 85. Yeah, 85. So we're not going to get distance. So we're just going to challenge earlier and we're just going to see, really. I feel this would be one of the first races out there. Let's go. Nope, you've got flat form. Oh my god, you've got flat form. You've got flat form. You've got flat form. You've got flat form. We can't run flats as a 3-year-old. We can't run flats. Uh, okay. I don't want to run the juveniles if I then can't run the novices at 4. So I'm not fully sure how I want to approach this. There's literally one maiden at 2-1. There's a 2-4 listed handicap for a 3-year-old is nuts. Yeah, there's 6-year-olds in there. There's no 3-year-olds. There's no conditions races. The Yeah, I guess those 3 just sitting in the field for now. And you go to the breeding barn. So I got 2-year-olds out in the field because I knew I wouldn't be able to race those, but the 3-year-olds I keep forgetting as well will be in the barn. Okay. Well, that simplifies things a little bit. That basically gives us 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, no 6-year-olds, but a 7 and a 9-year-old. That is fine. We've got 3 2-year-olds and 3 3-year-olds in the field, and we've got 13 now in the breeding barn ready to breed with Tartan Jury this season. I think that's a decent number. I do think that's a decent number. So, yeah, let's skip forward this week then to get to our first race, Breton Squid. Solid filly, short distance, 5-year-old, good, not great, and into a little novice chase. And again, I feel this isn't a bad place to start Breton Squid. So we kind of see domestic field. We are the youngest horse. It is going to be a bit of a test for us, 100% it is, but at the same time, it's not a horse that I'm kind of married to in any way. If we do good, we do good. If we don't, then we can always just move on from it. But 2 Mile Irish Farms EBF Novice Chase, Class 2 Novice Race for 5-year-olds and older. And we are here ready to run. We do start near the middle of the pack, and not an amazing first jump, but we're not at the back, which is kind of what we want to see. We're up near the front. In fact, Delaware Button leads, Solid Shuffler, Crabella Material, Shebang Stirred. Then us, back to Western Dare. Perez, Vindication, Alvarez, Sylvia, Third Scotch, and Deer Crest at the rear. Not a good jump there either at 4. Puts us back a little bit. 5 and 6 are decent. A mile to run. First run for Breton Squid. And just a little tester in terms of quality. Tester in terms of distance as well. Looks like Deercrest was unseated. I think that was at 7. We are going, we are running, we are jumping with some speed. Salt Lake Shuffle Up, I believe, has fallen at 9 or 10 there. 3 furlongs from home, and we are pushing out now into the lead, showing that this horse does indeed have some pace. Final 2 furlongs, and the final 2 jumps. 11 is cleared. Delaware Button does get held up. Alvarita Silvia is coming from deep. The final jump, we don't jump it particularly well. Alvarita does. Chillabang Stirred is also going for it. Final furlong, they're neck and neck. Sylvia takes the lead, starting to push out, but a solid run for Breton Squid. Not a great jumper. That's kind of where it hurt us. But we did have a lot of good runs here. And at Nas, to open up, I feel fairly decent. Fairly decent. It's a little cheeky chase race feature in Ireland to begin a 5-year-old season. It felt good. Beginning to pick up towards the end. Nice to know. It didn't feel that way. But yeah, that would then put Breton Squid in like a 2-2? 2-3, I mean, great one. Anyone? No? Anyone want to bet on that? The Arkle G1, which isn't a graded race despite its name. It should be, but it isn't. Yeah. I don't hate it. We're just slowly going to climb until we hit our distance. I think that's it. I think that's all we can do. We're going to challenge earlier. We're going to, set everything up. But I think 2-1 maybe would feel right there. So, yeah, we're just going to run a race and then book that in the next race we find that's available. That's kind of how I'm putting this together, because we've got very few other options in that way. We're just going to have to take what we can get. So I think a way of doing it is, if you are running concurrent saves, take a flat save horse. You run it at age 2 in a maiden and whatnot. Age 3, of course, you go for the relevant Triple Crowns and everything else. You kind of get yourself, as good as you can. 4-year-old, you get your big money races and your kind of huge prestige races that aren't Triple Crown races, and you have a good time. And then, again, you can race at age 5 and age 6 in a flat save. And when you're coming towards the end of that racing career, then you can put it on a transfer list, port it over into a jump save, and you're going to be running really good races at 6, 7, 8, 9 at that point too. You can also sneak it in for a season of breeding in between the transfer, or 2 seasons of breeding in between the flat save and the jump save. If you're playing combined, then realistically you can move between the two. But I always find jump saves better kind of on their own than a combined. And flat saves, I think there's so many good races, you don't want to add a bunch of jumps to it that you're not going to run for a few years. So I think 2 separate saves, I'm moving between them, kind of makes sense to me. So that's what we've started to do with some of our horses. I think that might be what we're doing in general, bringing some of the American horses over to here when they're the right age. So that might be more of a seamless transition. Early season as well. Of course, there's a lot of Irish racing, and that's what we're in for. We've got another one here. We are one of the top rated horses. We're one of the favorite horses. The actual favorite is a little warm. So They are sweating badly and agitated. The favorite is kind of not in a good place. That gives us confidence, but there's no. It's not like we're definitely going to win. It just gives me a bit more confidence that we can. So the Geraldine McCarthy handicap hurdle, a class 2 handicap up to 140 rated for 4-year-olds and above, over 2 mile and 4 furlongs. Again, back in Ireland, second race. The first one went decently well, I will say. We are towards the front. And again, we're not entirely sure on distance here, so this would be a nice little test for a low Milady. We know what they ran at 3. It was basically just 2 miles. That's all we could. So a 4-year-old, the first time you get to test your distance, and we are doing that. Windermere Icicle on the outside moves into first, past Mushy Cavalry and Langoustine Party. Escalada Brex, Faith Destivio, Magnetic Take, Sprig Think, Bordighera Muse, and Newport Standard towards the rear of the field. We're in second place on the inside. Jumping okay. Not jumping well, not jumping poorly, jumping okay. Holding our position. Langoustine, Windermere, Escalada, all there. Mushy and Magnetic, joined by Faith as that next trio. Still got a little over a mile to go, and we're only halfway through the jumps right now. Jump number 8 coming up here, and we are just in touch. Newport Standard has pulled up with an injury. A solid jump there at 9. 10 is okay. That keeps us right in behind the leaders. Looks like we're losing pace now. Half a mile from home. Doesn't look like we're getting anywhere close to the front here. And we are falling off pretty badly, which is a shame. We do jump it okay. But yeah, that 2-4, and we died at about 2. You would expect us to have the stamina to kind of get there. We didn't. Not at all. So yeah, high quality race. Horses kept their pace late into the race. We didn't. And it just feels like like I don't think we would have died that soon if we wanted more distance, so I think we want a little less. I think the next test I'd want to do is somewhere around 2-2, which is just really difficult. Like, really difficult. And I don't love the handicaps. And that's kind of my issue. Kind of in some problems there. Yeah, we might have stamina, but we definitely didn't have pace. I think that comes with its own challenges. I wonder if we go 2 miles and we challenge earlier, does that do anything? I could be wrong. We could need more distance. We could be more of a 2.5, 2.6. It's definitely a question. I feel like right now, it might be a good idea to try and test them. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I'm just trying to think through I want to make sure that we're not coming down for distance. I really, really do. And I think on the jump save as well, it's even more important to do jockey instructions. I don't like to do it on a flat, but you're normally going to get close to your distance on a flat unless you choose to ignore races at your distance for reasons such as a triple crown. On the jumps, I feel you've really got to adapt to distance more because you're unlikely to find a lot of races on your distance unless you're a 2 miler, 2.5 miler, or a 3 miler. Everything in between is kind of difficult. So, yeah. For a lot of their first runs, so I'm going to need to get distance. So, like, that should be 2. This should be 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, or 2-4. 2-3. I don't feel entirely like I should be using jockey instructions for this one. I could be wrong. 100% could be wrong. Our first trip to France as well. But a very nice horse who is very young, can do some stuff. But the 2 mile, 3 furlong Prix du Pic de Midi Erdel, Class 1, Grade 3, 4-year-olds and older. We are the only 4-year-olds on the field. Definitely the form horse. That gets us second favourites. Cove is the favourite. And we see Starburst out to the front to begin this then, with Cove up into third, Oswald fourth, Patton fifth, and Excuse at the back. With the back four in touch, we're just stalking down Starburst steam. A poor jump at 2. That's not going to help us very much. We definitely have the pace on the track, but if we don't jump well, we give up a lot of advantage to some other horses and maybe give ourselves too much to do and too many recovery sprints to make an impact at the end of the race. So far, though, one poor jump, the rest pretty decent all in all. Starting this right-hand turn. The back four kind of intact. Cove just out ahead. 1 or 2 good jumps away from coming right up behind us. Coming now 3/4 of a mile from home. Starboard steam just heading us out again. Cove caught by Parton, and now we're starting to see the moves being made. 1 good jump and a little bit of a sprint. The 4 up the front, there's 2 at the back. Cove in position. Oh my God, Starboard steam got absolutely obliterated there. Absolutely obliterated. They fall down to the final 1.5 furlongs. Commandant's falling back. The unbeaten record I knew was going to fall. It does fall early. We did fade. Again, I feel like that. I feel like that's just a horse that wants less distance. It's a tough race. It is a tough race. I will give it that. But 100% wants less, a little less distance, maybe. I don't want to put them in big graded races. I don't want to put them in handicaps. I can't put them in flat racing. Just it's trying to find these half spaces where the distance works. But yeah, racing your 3-year-olds in juveniles means that you can't run the novices next year. I'm not really sure why that is. I feel like that's a strange thing. I feel like that's a strange thing. I don't know It's kind of taken a lot of races out here for my 4-year-old season, so we just don't run 3-year-olds. We start at 4, which is what I've been told. But I'm looking at the schedule, I figured that there would actually be a place for them, and there just really isn't. There just sadly isn't. I got handicaps at a number of distances. I don't like them. I don't want to run them, but I might have to run them. I don't like being top weight. I don't like these options. I don't like any of these options. I can go for crazy distance. I can go for very short. I don't love any of the options. I don't love any of the options. You should be 2 mile. You should be good. I have no idea. I have no idea. So let's run 2 mile and let's start to figure out some of these distances if we can. The 2 mile Munster listed hurdle, class 1 listed race for 4-year-olds and older. Back in Ireland once again, Falling Castles. Another horse that, again, we just don't know too much about. The field is all together. Arriva Rave is there. The Canna Supply on the outside. Wearable Guidance on the inside. It's a horse, that name I remember. And now we're starting to string out back to Closter Woodfire. Newland Sunshine blinks out the back. Winchester Like has moved up on that inside, getting into good place. Tomb Visa just in behind second place. A mile to go. We are in the lead by a few lengths, but we do know very much how quickly that can change, and it does change here in Arriva Rave. A good little run up and then a solid jump, and now a good jump takes them clear by a couple of lengths. Now is a fight over the final half a mile. As Newland Sunshine is out of this, Falling Castles kind of stays back as well. Gets into a lane to run, but doesn't really have the pace to come up. Doesn't jump particularly well there. Battling for fifth, probably going to fall out of it. Not an amazing race. And a horse that should have an absolute ton of pace and should be on at 2 miles. There's just not races for them when those novices are taken out. Like, that's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Well, maiden hurdle here. Distance, I've got no idea. Quality, we know this is a very good horse. And it's a little maiden hurdle. It shouldn't be anything difficult. It's a bunch of 4-year-olds. And we're a 9-year-old, so we should be in our prime for this kind of rating. We'll have to see, though. Can Brex jump? We're okay at number 1. Number 2, number 3 suggests that it may be a little tricky. Shavo Smoke with Walla Breathe in behind us. Back to hits Wild Spock Bennett, Beaching It Cooler, Bradford Dressing, Chadworth Claude, and Doubles Time. Coming up to the 4th jump, we do okay for that. And the 5th, 3 okay, 2 poor so far for the first half of the jumps. Breathe and Smoke right in there with Wild still leading out Bennett in colour. We haven't seen Dressing, Claude, or Time in a while. Continuing to jump okay. 2 poor jumps back to back. Kind of set us back early. We should have pace on the ground, but 3 furlongs from home. Are we going to come in and challenge? Are we not? We are. We are going to start to send it now then past Spock Bennett. But they're now fighting back and Plateau Brex at about 2-2 looks like they're beginning to fall off just a little bit. Spock Bennett coming through. Solid jump from them. They're going to run on and take this one from Shavio Smoke. And we just about hold on to third place. So, yeah, a little way back. Trip suited perfectly. Running against younger horses. My God, I don't know. I think Stud Barn might get a lot of use. Do we just not run 4-year-olds because we don't have novices? Like, that's what it feels like right now. That is what it feels like. We'll see what Millennium Hand and Come Undone can do. But Come Undone, there's not going to be a good race for Come Undone either. I don't want to just ruin that horse there. Yeah, okay. Okay, maybe just concentrating on older horses then. Because, as I say, right now, there doesn't look to be a ton of other reason to be running them. 6 or 7, 4 or 5. There's a couple of good winners, but nothing in high stakes. 5-year-olds I can't win. I'd go and say not really something we want to do there. Yeah, this could just be a breeding season. And luckily, next year's 4-year-old crop will actually be able to run because they will have the novices. Brex, I think, a mile, like 2 miles too, I think does suit. At 9, I figured with her bars and everything as well, she'd be ready to go. It is just the fact, really, that, yeah, she's not a good jumper. And she might end up back in the breeding barn as well. So we're just going to test, but like I say, when we get up to ages 4, I mean, there are races here for them, but only a few. It does make me think how I want to approach this. Oh, it's so difficult to get my head in a UK time scale and the jumps time scale. Like I've got to play from breeding. The yearling breeding's always dead. That's fine. Like, that 1-year-old season's fine. But 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, even 5-year-old, like right away you got 4 racing seasons in a flat save. But basically you're running like maidens and allowances, kind of the equivalents to those. For all 4 of those seasons, with no progress. 2 of them you're not racing at all. So you don't race 1, you don't race 2, you don't race 3. 4-year-olds you go into juveniles. Or, sorry, you go into novice racing. 5-year-old, when you're like winning and enjoying things in a flat save, then and only then are you basically stepping into your feature racing. And then only lightly. 6-year-old is more feature racing. So is 7. And it's just such slow progress. I understand it's realistic, but from a gameplay point of view, I've got no progress from breeding through like 6, 7 seasons. And I thought I'd get over that, and I thought I'd be able to adapt to that. And even with the increased schedule and races for 4 and 5 year olds, I just feel that it does kind of still stick slightly. I don't know how to get around it without creating a bunch of 2 and 3 year olds races. And like I'm already moving pretty far away from British racing realism. Um, so like how far in that direction do I want to go before I'm literally just I'm basically just running an American schedule where there happens to be jumps, you know? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's so difficult to get my brain in the right position for this, and I'm struggling. But I'm enjoying the jumps, and I'm excited to see what can happen in the new schedule. And I want to win a Grand National. I want to run the Gold Cup. I want to test out some of the new races we put in the schedule. But really, you could just skip all the way to an age 6, 7 season before actually getting to race anything of of note and actually having a chance to win anything of note. And ooh, I don't love that. I don't love that. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's a me problem. Maybe it's a horse problem. I don't fully know. 2-3 again feels kind of right for Millennium Hand. No jockey instructions. I kind of want to see how far away I am in distance. 2 310-yard Holloway's handicap hurdle, class 1 grade 3 handicap for 4 year olds and above. We're not the favourite, but we're up the top end. We ran well last year. We did the best, I believe, out of our 3 entries at Riccarton in 5th place for the Grand National Hurdle down under in New Zealand. So, I like this horse. I think there's something to this horse. But are we going to see that, and are we going to get any progress in this 4 year old season, 5 year old season, even 6 year old season? Or are we going to have to wait still another 3, 4 years? I don't want to just keep horses around and kind of just hold pattern and kill time over again year after year until we get to the point where they actually race fun races and not just variations of the same race time in, time out. Right now, Skimp Mickey has got like an 8 to 10 length lead. Here comes the field, but they need to get going to catch them. Millennium Hand is dropping back instead of catching up, down to 5th already. Nothing is forever's been unseated at the back end, and we are just falling down the field and continuing to do so. Nice little jump there, kind of puts us back kind of in mid-range, but again, it just doesn't feel like there's any point racing as a 4 year old in these races, which means it's another season of basically novice hurdles, novice chase, which we can't actually run because we ran the juveniles last year. So there might be a handful of handicaps. And that's it. And yes, that's on me. That's 100% on me. But boy, does it kind of suck. Boy, does it kind of suck. And I think most of these races are all going to be 4-year-old up. And not 4-year-old only. We got like a 2-1 in France as a grade 3. And we got another grade 3 at 2-1 in France. And that's basically where we're going to be is another grade 3, 2-3 in France this time. And some grade 2s at 2-3, 2-6 for 4-year-olds. This is a grade 1, 2-3. Yeah, ignore the 3-year-old and up as well because they will get older horses. 2-3 grade 3 in France. And then Riccarton again, the Grand National Hurdle and the Steeplechase. They're just open. It's like 4-year-old kind of graded races or solid races are just very, very few and far between, right? Very few and far between. And a lot of that is in France. So if you do run juveniles, you 100% handicap yourself for the rest of for the 4-year-old season. Yeah. I don't love it. Even the Cheltenham Festival. Even that. There's not much, is there? So we put together what, May? Extra races, which aren't on this schedule, because this is the first schedule, sadly. Um, yeah, this is the reason why those got added. These are the reason. This is the reason then, mid-June. I think in this little hole here, we've got the Cheltenham meeting, and then like September 19th, 20th, somewhere around there. In this little hole, we got the third meeting where 4-year-olds can run. So yeah, this version, I'm glad that we did add them. I know it's not realistic, and we are moving further away from realism, but the fact that I think we're only going to run probably 6-year-olds and older, and we got all that dead space from yearling all the way up to 6 is kind of brutal. So field or flat, yeah, field at 2. So breeding barn at 1, breeding barn and field at 2, flat racing at 3, novice racing at 4, and the best of them can go into those National Hunt Cup 4-year-old races that we've put together, the 4-year-old Triple Crown. At least gives them something to run at 4. 5, we've got the National Hunt Cup again with a couple of extra races added, and now the 5-year-old only Triple Crown. The 6-year-old we can stick to National Hunt Cup and Triple Crown. Plus, we should also be able to start feeding in the normal races at that point, and we've opened up the Grand National to 6-year-olds. So I think that pathway flows better. So apart from breeding and just trying to see if Plateau Brex or Modern Eve can kind of run, because the others I don't see a ton about. And both these are not jumping horses. But yeah, apart from that, like I don't see much point in running, so we're gonna have to switch the schedules to the updated one, the ones that you guys were able to download. If you haven't seen that, check out that video. But yeah, I was kind of hoping that I hadn't messed it up and running juveniles wouldn't carry over into the novices, but just like the base game, it does. And like I say, I think that puts us in a bad place. I think that puts us in a bad place. So, little novice chase, a 2-4 Belfast Kid. I mean, at least they should be able to run this and do okay at this. But we'll see. It's in the rain. It is a horse I like. I mean, that's the thing as well. I'm gonna have to basically set up a lot of breeding and then just transfer in and out so many horses and figure out the best way to do things, because a lot of these horses won't be able to be transferred out because they've been transferred in. We've got other copies of them for sure that we can look at, but yeah, it's gonna be a little interesting. Couple of bad jumps there from Belfast Kid. Doesn't love a couple of those. Thought they might have totally messed up that last jump, the water jump at 9, which, like, really 9 and 8 were a bit tricky. And we're not exactly jumping spectacularly well. Half a mile from home, still in this, but here comes the pace from the back, Baytone Grec, waiting for mentioned driver, someone else to come through as well. We're going to kick on that jump. Oh my god, Greg gets absolutely floored. There comes Drive, Belfast Kid, also coming up, storming through right at the end, doesn't quite get a win. But that's the kind of run I want to see, but I want to see it at a level above. Like, Class 4 racing, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that through my 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old season. Class 2 racing at 6-year-old, and only move on to onto Class 1 racing at like age 7. It's just got me worried. It's got me worried. And I don't think it's a lot of fun when these are the races that we're maybe winning, maybe not winning. I do feel this is a really good horse. I feel this is a really good horse. There's just nothing really for it to run in this schedule at 4 years of age. So, yeah, this is probably just going to come into now being a breeding save. And we're just going to breed from everybody that we can. I'm just going to run through seasons pretty quickly on this. And just pick like the best 1 or 2 that I like. The ones that I can pull out, I will, but a lot of these I can't. So you can. Yeah, you're not terrible. Yeah, some of these others, I definitely just want to breed from it and get the best we can. But yeah, I don't feel that we're gonna win any races. That juvenile, not bad. 2-2, possibly suited. Like, I don't know. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. But like I say, there's just nothing that feels like it's worth running or worth showing at this point. Yeah, even this now, like, we know how good Planto Brex is. She's not really a jumper. She jumped well. The distance seems about right. Um, and if she can't even win a class 4, like, everything I know would point to her being a good horse. Everything I'm seeing is kind of counter to the argument, right? I think that's kind of where I'm struggling with it a touch. So I mean, yeah, I can pull these guys in again from their list. That's fine. I can pull these in from their list again. That's fine. I'll wait until the end of the season to pull across into the transfer list. I can't pull these two into the transfer list. I definitely want to breed both of those. Yeah. So for now, you come out. And this... I was going to say, this will be the horse that allows me to skip through. It won't, because it's a 2-year-old. Because it's a 2-year-old, we actually can't do that. So there's no races. And you come back out to here. That's fine. At least now we can skip through. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through. I'm skipping this season with breeding, and I'm setting up the way we can. So yeah, I think it's time we put all that work into the new schedule. This was a good idea. We realized it wouldn't work as soon as we did it, but the old save was breaking, so we had to transition. Thought this could work well enough, but it won't, which is why we built the new schedule. And yeah, we might start a new series. We might end this UK series, and I'll probably start up a brand new one with a new schedule and kind of look at how that plays out. And I might make a couple of changes to the schedule, but not too many. But yeah, let me know what you think of that idea, because right now I just feel we're killing time, we're doing nothing, we're going nowhere. There's nothing interesting happening. There's no progress in the save. It's a rough slog. And maybe that's interesting to you. Maybe it is. But I'm struggling to play it, and so I don't think I'm gonna make it interesting to watch. So yeah. But thoughts, comments, criticisms, etc., all as always in the comment section down below. I think we transitioned to our latest schedule with a couple of tweaks and move forward from there. So let me know what you think. I'll see you very soon. Till then, take care, stay safe, all the very best. And new series, we go again, and we've got a much better platform to play on with. But if you're looking for a traditional jump series, I'm not really going to be your guy because I don't know enough about it. I don't enjoy that long form kind of wait and battle and grind to get better. So we're going to shortcut it a little bit. We're going to have all the action of the jumps, all the big races that you know, plus a few more, but be able to get to them and through them a lot quicker. That's kind of the plan. So if that's for you, great. If not, I totally understand. If you do like what you see, if you are excited for that, though, smash that like button, hit subscribe, check out the other playlists and the memberships available on the channel, and I'll see you there for that. But this, not quite where we want to be. Let's hope the next one is the one that takes us to the promised land. The goal, as always, remains the Grand National. We just need to build that pathway to give ourselves a shot. I'll see you then.